everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pony 411. I am Nemesis, and with me is LordFunkyFist.
Hello, everyone.
And Artfan.
Hello there.
Bit of a delayed response there, but anyway. Yeah, we're back again. It's another week. Yeah, we're going to try to keep this up as long as we can. No Force Ring, unfortunately, this week. Apparently, he has power issues or something, but we carry on.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, rip. Anyway, we got some quick hits, and today's topic is we're going to actually talk about Unicon a little bit more, and I promise though we'll try not to talk about it so much after this episode, but there's still more to talk about than what Force Ring and I did last week. So anyway,
Unicon.
Quick hits, though.
When did this become a Transformers podcast?
Unicon, not Kron.
I see. It's a convention, right? See, I missed the last podcast, and so I'm just
sit in the corner before you hurt yourself.
Okay, I'll just go read some Homestuck.
No, that'll make you worse. Anyway, quick hits. For those of you in Germany, you can stop by a Burger King and pick up pony toys for this month. No word yet on whether these will come to Burger King in other countries. Yeah, so previously we got toys at McDonald's. Now it's switched over to Burger King. I'd like it if it came over to here in the U.S., but whatever. Apparently these are actually pretty good molds from what I've seen. So if you're in Germany, or you can know someone in Germany, try to get one. Anyway, BronyCon, speaking of conventions, has open registration for vendors. If you plan on having a booth there, now's your chance to sign up. Shout Factory, the company behind MOP DVDs in the U.S., and I think actually just Region 1 in general, has confirmed that they're releasing a Season 2 box set. No word quite yet on when, but just keep your eyes peeled. They're coming.
I wonder if this was going to actually come in the Elements of Harmony box. The special edition, My Little Pony Season 2.
Believe.
Then you open it and it's empty.
Wah. Anyway, Mimico has released their MLP flash drives that we talked about way back when, I don't remember how long ago it was, but anyway, they range from 8 gigabytes to 128 gigabytes, which I think it's $20 to $130.
Yeah, $130 for the 128 and like $20 for the 8 gigabytes, which not bad for.
And they include Rarity, Dash, and Alicorn Twilight. Surprise!
Nice.
So yeah, I think this is the first official piece of Alicorn Twilight merchandise to be released.
Oh, everything else hasn't been released yet, you mean?
Right. Yeah, this is the first officially released Alicorn Twilight merchandise.
Well, we got stickers.
Well, except for that sticker, but in the book. But yeah, so yeah, these little flash drives. They shaped like the characters.
With ridiculously large heads.
They come with like wallpapers and whatnot, and like icons and stuff. Although I've seen the wallpapers, apparently they're just pictures of the USB drives, which is kind of ridiculous looking. But whatever. Anyway, moving on. Buck, the UK pony convention, has opened its website. If you're thinking of going, you need to check out that website for all their info, like stuff like, say, they're not partnering with a hotel this year, but they're just listing hotels in the nearby area, so you got to look out for that. Main 6 finally has announced that they'll continue development on their game.
Yay!
But the game will no longer be Fighting is Magic.
Oh.
But
yay!
Mother thing. They've announced that Lauren Faust herself has joined the team.
Yay!
And she will be designing new characters for the game. And they've also confirmed the characters will still be quadrupeds. So we're still and they're going to basically keep the moveset they've already established previously. So they're just basically redoing all the art and music.
Which might take a while.
Which we'll probably, so if in case you didn't notice, last week when they had their little FAQ about the cease and desist, they mentioned that they're actually aiming for a late March release.
Originally, which means we could have had it this month.
Yeah, but thanks a lot, Hasbro.
Well, you'll probably get it by the end of April at this rate, then.
April, May. I'm gonna go ahead and just say summer. That's my opinion. Just because art assets can take a long time to draw.
Yeah, that is true.
And the bonus is, because of the way they're doing this, you can, in theory, mod the game and re-add the old art assets so someone could make an unofficial Fighting is Magic, and thus we'll have our Fighting is Magic game again. In theory.
Well, I'm looking forward to
Unless,
that.
of course, Hasbro comes along and says, hey, you can't make this an open-ended game or, you know, an open
Actually,
source.
there's nothing. The way the engine they're building, actually, Hasbro can't stop them because the way the game engine is made and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, more power to them. That's awesome.
I mean, actually, I should mention Main 6 themselves can't really make another Fighting's Magic, but someone else can take the game they release and add pony characters back in. Just basically keeping quiet, because it'll be the same game, just with different art.
Cool.
Yeah, so these people if someone comes along and is quiet and then releases a pony mod for their game, whatever they're going to call it, we'll have Fighting is Magic again. And their game, so we'll have both, which will be cool. Anyway, moving on. Wave 8 blind bags have been spotted for sale. This wave has the neon colored ponies, which basically I think means they're just really brightly colored. So if you're interested in that, look out for them in stores when you're out shopping or whatever.
So literally blind bag. They're putting they're emphasizing on the word blind on that, I guess.
I guess. Anyway, IDW, the comic publisher, has announced the MOP Treasury Edition, which will include issues 1 through 4 in a single volume with all 48 covers printed in black and white included. So that's something to look forward to if maybe you haven't gone to the comics yet or just want all the covers in some way, shape, or form. There you go.
Nice.
And finally, in probably one of the bigger news items this week, the first official Equestria Girls art has been published in an article from the New York Times. The picture confirms the leaked concept art from a few weeks ago, except the characters appear to have more pony traits than they used to, which has been met with mixed reactions, just like before.
I don't hate it. It's I don't know.
Yeah, it's more like, I guess the word is anthro, which because they like have like pony ears and stuff, and it's like they have this. Yeah, the like Dash, Fluttershy, and Twilight all have wings, but there's no horns. Oddly enough.
Yeah, which
they
is
all
weird.
like. Yeah, there's a weird thing. They have cutie marks like on their faces, which also looks kind of weird. And yeah, they have like really long hair, and it's often styled in the way it looks. Hey, look, it looks kind of like they have a tail. Yeah, and they still got the coloring of their pony counterparts. So it looks like they at one point were thinking of going full on humanized, and then now they've scaled back to having more pony traits. So who knows?
Interesting.
How this is going to work out. And based on information, it looks like the movie for this will come out this spring, and the TV series will come out in the fall. So here's hoping it will, either way, if bad or good, we can at least enjoy it in some way, shape, or form. And that is the news.
Woohoo!
Yes. Okay, we're done. Bye. No, wait. We actually have a discussion. Like I said at the top of the show, we're going to talk about Unicon some more. So, yeah, if you missed last week's episode, go listen to that first, then come back, because this is going to kind of assume you have that, at least most of that information already. So, just to start off, last week we talked about Lost Pegasus a bit, which was the effort to help people who were like not paid or stranded and whatnot. Apparently, well, it came out recently. Hey, guess what? We've raised several $1,000. Almost everyone who was shorted money has been paid now, including the charities, which I personally didn't realize when we recorded last week. I did not realize the charities had not been paid, which is just kind of downright terrible.
Messed up.
Looks like big thing.
Yeah. I mean, you had the charity dinner, the charity auction, and whatnot, and the money just never reached the charities. So
that's kind of heinous.
Yeah. So all that money, it's people mostly been paid. A couple people, including actually Tara Strong in particular, has refused payment actually from them. She wants the money from the convention people, not, if I'm understanding correctly, she wants it from the convention people, not from people who helped raise money, even though she admires what they've done.
Yeah. Well, see, I can see what she means.
Yeah. So there's that, which is. So yeah, it's kind of still amazes me that something this magnitude of failure happens and the fandom just kind of comes together and like, yeah, we're gonna try to help make this right, which, you don't see it that often, honestly. Something like this.
Well, now here's my question. Why can't the staff from the show take legal action against the people of the convention? It doesn't sound like we've heard any stories of that yet, and this is a pretty serious thing.
It's a very serious thing. Some of them, they're just being nice. Like, almost pretty much all of them have, most of them have like an appearance fee in the first place, but they waived it because, it's like, okay, we're trying to do this with fans. But then, finding out, oh, hey, guess what? We now have to pay for the hotel room out and airfare out of pocket, even though we were promised that'll be paid for. Yeah, I think in theory they could probably take legal action. I don't think most of them want to go through the hassle of doing that, but I have heard like rumors somewhere. I'm not sure who's doing it or whatever, but I've heard rumors of a lawsuit being floated around.
Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, at this
someone
point,
somewhere.
I mean, it
just takes one really pissed off person to do that.
Yeah, so I don't know any details about that. You'd have to go look it up yourself, and there are places to look it up. And of course, right now 4chan is kind of being very intrepid and trying to figure out everything about this.
Yeah.
Being the wisecracking sleuths that they are, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do dig up something.
Yeah. So Las Vegas is pretty much a success all around, which is great news. Yeah, and speaking of the money, the show staff have all said, pretty much every one of them, like M.A. Larson, Tara Strong, Daniel Ingram, I think so far most of them have confirmed that any checks they received from Unicon have all bounced. So yeah, because one of the things was people from Unicon kept claiming that, oh, the show staff has been paid. The show staff has been paid. And they're all saying, no, we haven't been paid. Your checks all bounced. And that kind of also is it's like, wow. I mean, seriously.
Well, has Unicon come back and said anything about this? Because I'd be curious to read about their reaction. Because if they're still going to lie and say they were paid, that's where the legal action can come in. Because the checks bouncing is the hardest evidence of anything.
Yeah, the thing is, way back last week, right as Forcering and I were recording, they released their statement, their official statement, and you can't view it anymore. At least there's probably someone had saved a copy of it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone saved a copy of it. But the official statement was basically hotel and the convention center and the voice talent agents all basically kept double or triple charging them and stuff. They said, oh, we paid them multiple times. And that now these people are saying, yeah, the checks you gave us bounced. So
there's that.
So basically, they're almost saying like, "Hey, it's not our problem. We already gave them the check."
Yeah, basically that's what it sounded like. It basically sounded like their whole official statement. We talked about it a little bit, but we didn't really pass. Forcing and I didn't really pass judgment on it, but you could kind of hear in our voices we did not believe the official statement one bit. I still don't. Basically, their official statement is just like, it's not really our fault. Yeah, all we're at fault is for being naive, or something like that. That's basically they were saying we were taken for a ride as well. It's these guys' fault. They're just pointing fingers everywhere else, which is kind of comes off as disingenuous.
Yeah.
And also wasn't this like some of their like first time doing something like this?
More or less, yeah. This was a first time con, and a lot of the not show staff, but convention staff were inexperienced.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. That if any of them even had any experience in running a convention.
Particularly Sandy, who, by the way, from what I understand, is still no one has heard from her at all in the past few weeks.
Oh, that's great.
No one's, yeah. So it's like no one knows what's going on there. Yeah. I said, yeah. It's one of those things that's like worrying. It's like, where are they? This is not the time to be hiding. This is the time to come out and be honest. But like I said earlier, the Unicon website, where the statement has been posted, you can no longer view it on the website because the website is just it's down. You try to go there, you just get an error. And
that would be a sign of not having money to pay the domain name. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, yeah, this the whole thing just. Yeah, no, that I can't confirm this, but I'm hearing that thousands of dollars are just not accounted for. It's just like no one knows where it went.
Whoops.
Again. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like the two common theories are gross incompetence or scam. And the fact that that much money is just gone is kind of
scam. I mean,
feels very suspicious
for someone like me,
eyebrows being raised.
I mean, I guess I kind of feel like I have more of an outside perspective, not being as much in the community as everybody else, and just hearing the basic information you're telling me, my gut is screaming like this was a scam. They just wanted to set this up, and they wanted to have the people there and have all the notoriety, but then not pay anybody. There was never an intention of paying anybody. They just figured they could set it up and then run and hide before anybody knew what was happening.
Yeah. And again, like Forstring wanted to mention this week, this is not a slight against like the lower level volunteers. Apparently, a lot of those people are really awesome and did as best they can. But we're talking about the way high up. We're talking about the high level con staff.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying anything against the people that like raised the money to actually get these people paid. Those volunteers.
No, I'm not talking about that. Those people.
Damn good
people
job.
Who raised the money had nothing to do with the convention.
Oh really?
At all.
Oh. At
yeah,
all.
they just
Nothing.
These are people like saw that everything went into trouble and went to trouble real quick and just like, okay, we need to do something about this like now. And so it's like people like from what I understand is if most people in the community know, it's Mando Mommy, is the actual mother of Mando Pony, the musician, who basically said, hey, we need to do something about this, and she was the one who kind of like got the ball rolling, and then community went off and like, okay, we need to raise money, had a bunch of auctions, and we had this stuff like I said this last week, the show staff, some of the show staff put stuff up for sale, some high level community, like well-known community people put up stuff for sale, bunch of all this money, just the numbers I can't remember, I think they're still like counting up everything, but yeah, all this people I've been paid now, pretty much everyone's been paid though, but yeah, it was not, they made sure to tell people none of this money went to the convention people at all. They had nothing to do with this. Because, people were like, why should if they ran out of money because they spent irresponsibly, why should we give them more money?
Exactly.
And, yeah, they decided to be quick to say, no, it's nothing to do with the convention staff. Nothing to do with the convention. This is just to help people who got screwed over by the convention.
Which is a much better cause.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, because I've seen some of the tweets that have been I guess coming from like some of the show staff that went there, and you mentioned it earlier, the one that I wasn't sure if it was real or not, the one with Daniel Ingram pretty much calling who was the person's name again?
Sandy. I think Sandy Haas, I think.
Yeah,
I know her first name's Sandy.
He was calling them white trash, and no, I think that tweet's gone from what you've said.
Yeah.
And Tara Strong saying she had to miss her son's karate tournament for that, and now her son being upset about that. It's like, man, like, not only did it ruin like the con experience, it kind of like, on that level kind of messed up a lot of things, like even more than just like a personal, experience like that.
Well, I think it hurts. Yeah. If anything else, the important thing to note is that this is going to hurt the perception of the community as a whole. I mean, you can't deny that this is going to have a ripple effect throughout like every other convention.
I mean, yeah, like I think it's already happened because like some of them are even saying like, oh, they don't want to do the smaller cons anymore because this pretty much showed like what could go wrong with things like that. Yeah, so
Forstring and I kind of touched on this before, but yeah, the idea is that a lot, like Tara Strong particularly, she said she was very skittish now about the first year cons and stuff, and now a lot of them are just kind of nervous in general because this was a first year con, and it's kind of its meltdown is just kind of as it's gonna be felt for a while. This is not like this is not going to be, as much as we'd like it to be an isolated incident, because this happened. It's going to have its repercussions, and in fact already has now had repercussions. As this morning, Tara Strong it's been announced that Tara Strong has canceled her appearance at Big Apple PonyCon.
Ouch.
And she, she's still trying to make it up for them, because one of the things that Big Apple PonyCon did was they pre-sold like autograph vouchers for particular voice people. And what she did is like, okay, I'm going to try to assign as many like posters and stuff for these people and send them to you so you can give them out to these people who already paid for them, which is cool. She says she's also going to try to appear via Skype. So she's not going to personally fly out there, but she's willing to appear electronically.
It might be a little bit better idea.
So we got that. But yeah, she's already canceled that appearance. she's kind of talking about no one else, I don't think anyone else has announced any big people quite yet, like at this level yet. I think a couple people have, but Tara Strong I don't think has really been announced for a lot of the pony conventions yet. I'm pretty sure at this point it's pretty much a guarantee that if you're a first year con, you're not getting Tara Strong this year, which is unfortunate. So basically Unicon has burned her, and particularly since Unicon was the first convention of the year, this is really bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's just so anyone, but anyone who's already been established. So basically, like BronyCon, Everfree, Northwest, those guys are pretty much okay for most part. They'll feel a little bit of the effect, but for the most part, they'll still be able to probably get the show staff and whatnot because they've already established and they're like, okay, we can run a successful convention.
And they've had they've had show staff on their conventions before, so
yes,
they know how to do that at least.
Yeah. These people, they've already shown, yeah, we can run a successful convention. So these people have proven themselves. So basically, this is kind of what I want to get to. Like I said, Four String and I touched on this, but basically, what can other cons learn from this, you think? Besides the obvious, but is there anything you guys can think of that, maybe what they can learn from this and maybe what they can do to still maybe at least prove this, they can do this properly without having a meltdown like Unicon did? Thoughts?
Well, I think that they can definitely do better prep beforehand to make sure like everything is going to be squared away and that there's not going to be any issues. Make sure if you want to try to pay the actors or pay whoever to show up, make sure you have that money ahead of time. Set it aside. Like basically just plan ahead. Prefabricate everything so that's ready to go when the convention kicks off. Because what could have happened to Unicron is maybe they didn't have everything squared away and they were trying to put it together at the last minute but just kept it on the down low, and then it came back to bite them in the ass when they didn't have the money to pay everybody. So
yeah, from my understanding, I've heard, I again can't verify, but a Unicon, apparently a lot of red flags were to be setting off before it even started. Like the fact that they were it was a first year convention aiming for over 2,000 attendees. The fact that they had like 20 guests, 20 guests from the show staff, and then on top or something like that, and then on top of that, like community people, and it's like this is getting, and not only that, you're in Las Vegas, this is getting expensive fast.
Yeah, I don't think that was very well planned. So like a future convention can learn from that. If they're gonna start, if it's gonna be a first year convention, don't start it in Las Vegas, where the hotels are gonna like destroy you in terms of what they charge for you to be there. Start it in some smaller town. Only have, instead of going for 2,000 attendees, go for try to go for like a few hundred. Don't set high goals when it's your first year doing this and you're not really sure what you're doing yet. You have to kind of practice before you can get better.
Right.
I know, again, I don't know if these were real or not, because I heard rumors before, I guess when all this was happening was that before, like the months leading to Unicon, or I think a month before, it looked like they already knew that, oh boy, like we may be in over our heads, but they didn't really do anything about it. They just kind of hoped for the best, because I think it was like by a month before they only had like 1,000 RSVPs or whatever, like compared to the 2,000 people that they were planning on, and they had a bunch of other like little things popping up that could possibly mess up the convention. But from what I was hearing, that from these rumors, that they knew a lot of these things could go wrong, but they just chose not to really do anything, just because I guess in a way they were just hoping that it would just work itself out.
Yeah, I've heard that too. One thing I heard was they knew that they did not have enough money going in, and they went forward because they thought, we can sell enough stuff to get enough money to keep going, but they didn't. Because they were hoping, I guess part of it was they're just kind of secretly hoping for a lot of at-the-door ticket sales.
Yeah, they were just hoping for the best, and that's something you shouldn't be doing. If you see something, you see a red flag come up, you should be like, oh, whoa, like we need to do something about this, rather than, let's just wait this out and see how it works out, and then have that bite you in the ass when you're like a day in the convention and everything's falling apart.
Right. Yeah, I can't verify this. Like Four String says that he heard the number 5,000 being tossed around.
5,000 attendees or?
They were hoping for 5,000 attendees.
Jeez.
That's a red flag. If you're a first-year con.
Yeah. A first-year convention, especially a big one like they were doing. This is a fairly big convention, or at least was planned to be a fairly big convention. And let's be honest, you're going to be lucky to get 1,000.
You're going to be lucky to get 500, let alone 5,000.
Well, not 5. I mean, it's just like most of the, like Everfree for last year was its first year. It got about, I heard, about 1,100 people or so, if I remember correctly.
Jeez.
That's about, which they were actually expecting. They're actually planning for about something like 500 or something. I can't remember the numbers off my head, but I do know they got a lot more than what they were expecting, because they're only expecting a couple hundred, which is the smart thing to do, but then they got a 4-digit number instead. But yeah, these Las Vegas, but I'm hearing the most common number hearing is about they're expecting 2,000 people, but I've heard, like from Forestering, like a number as high as 5,000.
Right.
But it's crazy, even for Las Vegas. I mean, that was the thing. It was basically they let the fact, we're in Las Vegas. We got to go big. We talked about this before. We got to go big. We got to be extravagant. And they just let it go to their head, and it blew up in their face. They made a gamble, and it didn't pay off. The house won.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Boy, did
they put it all on black.
And yeah, it's definitely, actually, like I said last week, I think one thing that someone can learn is just, if you haven't even gotten that far in planning yet, you've just announced, I say just go ahead and cancel at this point. Just cancel your convention. Just don't bother. Just, especially if you're like planning on trying to get a bunch of show staff, it's like we already have too many. We need to cut down. I'm still hoping this will cut down on some conventions or make some conventions merge together or something. Because we don't need this many, and I'm hoping this will help kind of cull it. I said this before. I keep saying that. But this will affect you. This will, if you're a first-year convention, Terra Strong is pretty much a guarantee. You're not getting Terra Strong if you're first-year convention. You're not getting her. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah, and I saw that being brought up too. 'Cause again, like I seen some tweets, and I saw one of Terra Strong replying to someone, and someone brought that up, and they're saying, we don't need 20 plus conventions in between all these big ones. What they should be doing is pooling their resources and things like that, instead of having a bunch of smaller ones. Maybe group some together, and or even just join with BronyCon or Everfree, or I forget what another big one is, but
Equestria LA.
Yeah, Equestria LA, and pool your resources with them rather than just having your own little thing and just having all these almost unnecessary amount of conventions that go on each year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially since a lot of them are small, and they're lucky if they could track 5 show staff members. I think one thing they can do is kind of show that you can handle it, because let's be honest, the Unicon staff showed very quickly they were not able to handle it. In fact, that's one of the things is what happened was on Saturday night, they actually literally handed over control of the convention to people who knew what they were doing.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So yeah, just know what you're getting into. This is big. This convention is a really big responsibility. It's going to be stressful. You're going to have a lot of money. Make sure, I'm trying to remember. I heard something like they had $40,000 going into this, and it was gone by Saturday night.
Vegas.
That's what I heard. Can't confirm it, but conventions are expensive. Yeah, remember, conventions are expensive. You're probably not going to make any money back. If you're expecting to make some sort of profit, don't. No first-year convention ever makes a profit. You're probably going to break even if you're lucky.
Especially a convention in Vegas. Forget about it.
Yeah, just basically be prepared to burn money. You're going to be blowing through a lot of money very quickly. If it looks like ticket sales, in particular, this is one thing, they could have rented this. If ticket sales are not matching your expectations, you're going to have to scale things back a lot. And one thing I think they're going to have to start doing this may be decided for them. They're going to have to be basically transparent about their finances. They're just going to say,
sure.
Okay, we have this much money. We can guarantee we'll have this much by this point or whatever. We're just they're going to have to just guarantee they're going to have to lay out everything, how much we're going to get, we expect to get, how much we expect to spend, how much everything's going to cost. They're going to have to be super transparent about this now, or else they're going to lose a lot of confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just really disappointing that this had to happen this way. It's just that this failure, and there's plenty of like first-hand accounts all over the internet. You got the Round Stable, there's the Derpy Hooves News has an account on their website about what happened. It was just, people were talking about it. It was a ghost town. People were like, I've been to other conventions. It was constantly packed. I remember Everfree, the vendor area, it was packed all the time. To the point where they had to kind of shuffle it. They had to set up new rules and stuff to get people to be able to get through without just having these mobs of people, and just to let people actually be able to move through the room. Whereas I've seen pictures and stuff of like Unicon, and it's like a ghost town. There's like barely anyone there.
With like the caption, "Meanwhile at Unicon," and just like no one there.
Pretty much. It was bad, and it didn't help. And it was just one of those things. It just everyone was talking about how it felt like a second-rate operation, because like their convention booklets, they didn't even have enough for 1,000 people. They only had like enough for like 400 people or something like that to get the official convention guides. Not only that, I remember the ones we got at Everfree, nice high-quality glossy paper, professionally printed and stuff. The ones at Unicon, printed out of an inkjet printer and stapled together manually at the convention. It's like, that was, when people got those, it was like, that was bad. Forstring talked about this, spelling vendor wrong.
Yeah, and I saw one where it was a picture, and I think it was like for Daniel Ingram, and like they had him as voice actor. It's like, yeah, that should be like the red flag right off the bat. Like,
yeah, all these signs. Yeah. What?
The more you're describing it to me, the more I'm just like, this was a sham. This had to be like this. Nothing could be this bad by accident. You know what I mean? It's either that or just these people really had no idea what they were doing and thought they could do it. I mean, everything was just like, it just felt like very second rate. It just like felt like it was so hastily cobbled together. People were just talking about, this does not feel like a real convention. This feels like a meetup that kind of exploded into something insane. Which is like, you got the small scale meetups. It's just like 10 people get together and just like at a McDonald's or something and hang out for like an hour or two. So, and in fact, some conventions actually start off that way. They start off as just kind of a meetup, and then they got so many people confirming to go. They're like, heck, let's go for it and make a convention. And then, yeah. And apparently, I heard about this, but apparently some other convention actually did fail. But it was so small that no one noticed, because it didn't even have voice staff or any show staff at all. But it kind of blew up somewhat similar, but because it was so small, no one really noticed. But this one,
yeah,
and doesn't help. Yeah, and also going back to the scam thing, it's just the fact that they're just kind of throwing accusations around. The fact that they're lying. Now that you got multiple show staff people basically accusing you of lying through your teeth, and it's like, there's like, we paid the show staff, and the show staff's like, no, you didn't. Our checks all bounced. And then you got people are claiming that Tara Strong demanded a penthouse suite in a much more expensive hotel, and then you got Tara Strong saying, no, I didn't. That's crazy. And it's like, why are these weird accusations popping up all of a sudden? It's like, and all of that, you look at where they're coming from, and almost all come from show staff, or not show staff, it's convention staff. And I remember someone who supposedly was like supposed to be, he claimed to be Tara Strong's like bodyguard, personal assistant or whatever for the weekend. He claimed that she was rude and stuck up the entire time and all this stuff, but it was just completely contradictory to what other people have said about working with the show staff, which like they're all super friendly and it's really great to know them and talk to them and everything. And you got this one guy who's claiming the complete opposite versus like multiple people claiming they're great. And it's like, something's up.
Yeah, I mean, God, like I said, dude. The more you tell me, the more I'm just like, this was set up to fail from the beginning by the people who were setting it up. They knew exactly, it sounds like they knew exactly what they were doing. They've just, you say it was hastily thrown together? It sounds like it was hastily thrown together on purpose just to give the illusion of a convention.
It's possible. Like I said, that is one of the two common theories. We can't until, we get more information, which we might never get all the facts. This might just be a mystery for a long time. We may never get to figure out the full picture, but a lot of first-hand accounts are coming in. Just, a lot of people are just saying, oh, this was bad. This was just felt very poorly run. No one knew what was going. Didn't help. Apparently, the top 2 people at the convention, they like would not like delegate anything. They like try to handle everything themselves, and well, that didn't work because now we got an information bottleneck, and that caused a lot of confusion.
Where are there's got to be at least somebody who is helping run it that has spoken up against it, or hasn't there?
I haven't looked, but it's been a while. But there might be somewhere. But the problem is a lot of this stuff. It's like it's really easy to fake an account and of something somewhere. But you still got like high profile people. You know, they weren't actually directly involved with staff stuff, but they're high profile enough they can talk about it and like, yeah, this was a colossal failure.
Yeah.
And I wish some people who are convention staff would come forward and say what they saw personally. I think there's been a few accounts, but not a lot that I've seen, but I might just not be looking in the right places. It's just, it's insane.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. So, like we said, this is the shockwaves of this. We're going to be feeling this for a long time. We can as we said last week, there's pretty much a guarantee there is not going to be another Unicon. That's dead. This is a dead thing. And so eventually something is going to come. I have a feeling though at some point, something is going to come forward that's going to reveal a lot of information about what really happened. Because if it was fraud, I've said this last week, but if it was fraud, that is probably the best case scenario. Or at least I think I said it last week. This is probably the best case scenario is if it's fraud. That is probably the best case scenario because then it's like, oh, it's just a couple of people being, criminals. They can be locked up and that's that. If it was gross incompetence, that's kind of bad for everyone. Because then we got people got to prove that, of course we still got people that will have to prove. It's like, okay, here's our finances, here's our history. People are going to have to prove possibly that, hey, we have a history of, we've had convention experience before, or like we helped on this convention or whatever, or we ran this one, or like Everfree. The people who ran Everfree have had previous convention experience. They had an idea of what they were doing. But from my understanding, everyone at Unicon had no idea. They had zero experience, and they had to literally hand it off to like Everfree staff who had experience and stuff.
Yeah, this was our first convention that we all went to.
And then it almost sounds like after they handed it off, they just disappeared.
That was the rumor. A lot of people said that like Sandy and whatnot just disappeared on Sunday, but apparently they're still hanging around. But they were like very closed off. They like were not really out and about that much, and they were still around on Sunday, but they were like very rare to see, but they were still around. But the fact that it took them,
would be a good word to.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's just the whole, because it's like that's one of those things like, well, if it was a scam, why they hang around? It's like, well, think about it. They're trying to make it look like not a scam, so they're hanging around, making it look like they're trying to put out the fire. Meanwhile, they're kind of taking. It's this thing. I don't want to just outright say it was a scam. I don't want to just outright accuse it without any total evidence. I mean, a lot of it's just right now just circumstantial and hearsay. We don't have like definitive proof like, oh, hey, look, there's the money there, or anything. All we have is convention staff or the convention people saying we paid the money. We have and then we have the show staff saying, no, you didn't. And it's just like, it could be. I've heard the Riviera is a scummy hotel. They might have taken advantage of. We don't know that for sure. But then again, it's one of those things like they could have intentionally picked the Riviera because they knew it had a bad reputation.
Yeah.
We don't know.
All these things take into account.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts from either of you guys?
I think I've said all I can probably say about it. Yeah. I mean, if I was to take a vote, my vote would be for scam.
Oh, no, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something rotten in Las Pegasus.
Yeah. I guess that's it for this episode this week.
Okay.
Oh, no.
It was a good episode.
I guess. Hopefully.
We got to talk about conspiracy theories and scams. It was fun.
Yeah. If you agree or if you disagree with that notion that it was a good episode, you can contact us. We're on Twitter at Pony401. We're also on Facebook.com/Pony401. You can comment on the Libsyn website, or you can email us, pony411podcast@gmail.com. You can, of course, get this episode and previous episodes and in future episodes on iTunes by searching for Pony411. You can, again, Libsyn, pony411.libsyn.com for the direct download. You can watch us on youtube.com/pony411 as well. So, yeah, those are all the ways to contact us, whatnot, or download us.
Well, we're working on getting a beeper number, so
yes,
for you to contact as well.
You can call us or something, or not.
Call us, beep us if you want to reach us.
Oh, God. What have you done?
If you want to text us, well, that's okay, too.
Yeah, we also accept carrier pigeon.
Morse code, telegraph, that's...
CB radio.
Yep. All those ways.
Tin can with a string.
Yeah, so, those are all the ways to contact us and listen to us and whatnot. Please, pony responsibly in the future. But I promise we won't talk about Unicon anymore, except like maybe if, oh, hey, guess what? Someone turned out to be guilty or something. But yeah,
or until the next Transformers movie comes out.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, we won't talk
sorry.
about Unicon as a discussion point in the future. Anyway, this goodbye's gone on long enough, so see you next week. I hope.
Take care, everyone.
Pony responsibly.
I already said that.